We're here. We're back. We finally made it. Unfortunately, tech issues were a thing, but we are getting through them, thankfully. Thank you to the background admin teams who have been, just full on, like imagine cool tech stuff going on and all these numbers and everything flying around on their screen. That is what was probably happening. I don't know, maybe Matrix stuff. But anyway, we're here. We're finally continuing on. Unfortunately, Ice People, I'm sorry, we're going back into tech. We're going to be playing another one. We're going to be going into the lower bracket to check out what's going on down there, just like we did earlier for the solo mix. And we're going to be checking out the match between Italy, Spain, Brazil, and Denmark. These are teams. Some of them we were kind of like, yeah, they have some hard matches. And some of them were like, why are they here? We're generally, Boney, we're generally surprised that we have a few of them down here, really. So, while we do that, I'm going to be passing it on to you guys because unfortunately we do really need to get these matches going. So with that, Boney, Turbo, you guys are going to take it away. Pat, sir, sorry, you're going to stay quiet.
Yeah. We unfortunately won't be able to get past this opinion, but no, for me, Spain, I think is definitely one that caught me by surprise. But I mean, they were fighting off against Estonia and Czechia, both of which have put up a great tech lineup. So it's one of those situations where, it just happened to go that way in terms of seeding. But regardless, they do find themselves here and duking it out with Italy, Brazil, and Denmark, on which I think probably Brazil is maybe a little bit in the hot seat right now when it comes to moving on, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, both Italy and Spain were on one server. On server 3, we were also focusing on that. They got 3rd and 4th on that server, so it's maybe a bit deceiving, right? Because some servers were maybe a bit stronger than the others, but still that they are still cool that they're meeting again. But I was surprised to see them down that early as well. But look at that, so many fails at this risky ending. And again, Kyle failed it, and that could have been already massive in terms for Italy in that way, but Kyle failed it. And yeah, he did not only fail it once, but twice, and is the first player to get eliminated and gets his team 12 points. Again, format is as follows. You want to collect as little points as possible. If you're eliminated, you get points on your respective position. So if Brazil now gets 11th and 10th now as well, they have unfortunately got the worst outcome on map number 1. And there's also a special rule that we've already seen happening on the match that you were casting beforehand, Boney, is that if your team gets an ace, well, it's so overpowered because you don't get any minus points during that map.
Yeah, no country around to hold you accountable for those 2nd and 3rd spots. Nope, it is all free points, all free reign from there. So yeah, we're basically playing golf, except we're using high-speed cars, turning them barely into any of these corners, making sure we miss them by the skin of their teeth, and hopefully keep your teammates, your countrymen, along for the ride. Right now, though, it's looking like Italy is going to be the next one to lose one of their players. Jack currently 2 seconds behind. We see a couple of safe fins going, but Christina... Oh no, with the risky fin, we already saw some complaints coming out in the chat. Unfortunately, Chris does hit it, and it's James who ends up failing that risky finish. Surfside's Whiskey Surfside has been a bit of a harsh mistress in that regard. We already saw that happening in the previous match, and it doesn't look like this one is making it any different.
Yeah, but this ending really is right now the bread and butter for the players. You really don't want to fail it in this round. And, well, now it is unfortunately James who fell victim to it again twice. It was very lucky there for the 10th seeded player to get through, but that's just how things pan out. We've already seen Matt playing, of course, on the server. I was talking about him as well. He didn't look that fast, of course. He's not a tech player, but he can show up with some consistency in that regard, and currently finds himself in a comfortable 7th position. Let's see if it will be another individual countryman now falling out in this round. Right now, Jake Ray is behind. Also, Dunster playing. Very cool seeing him returning. I met him at the World Cup in 2025. He was there because he was spontaneously in Paris, which was very cool. Very cool that I was able to meet him. And Dunster's able to clear that risky ending as well. And we have now an Italian player with a mistake in the ending. It is Jack who will be eliminated in this round. And now it's the time for a Danish player to go out if we follow the pattern like this. So this match is still very close.
Yeah, it's all to play for. I mean, 12, 11, 10, obviously. We're only just getting things underway, but so far it is Denmark with the clean sheet. Last time around it was India in that situation, and they lost 3 players quite fast. So hoping here for Denmark that doesn't be the case. It was mentioned yesterday as well during the opening ceremony, but Denmark, one of the things that they have done in team format specifically is the TSCC winning that as the only one winning that 3 times in the 5 years that has been going on. The best record that we have seen from any country entering into that. And the names that we have here, I mean, specifically Jakri and Dunstey, they have played a ton in that. They are very used to playing together. I think Higibus, he has not been part of that, but a familiar name within the Danish scene, and also great to see them come into the fold to try and make something happen. Looking like your prediction though, Fardo, is right. Dunstey is behind by 7.5 seconds, and Denmark looking to lose their player this time around. Jakri taking the safe, and Dunstey is out.
Yeah, Dunstey's out. Matt went for the risky finish. He feels comfortable with it, so he was able to get it through. Maybe even could afford a respawn in that regard. But look at this, 9, 10, 11, and 12 points for the respective teams. Denmark currently leading, but only by 1 point over Italy. So it's very close. And now the match kind of reset. If Brazil and Spain will not lose a player, it doesn't look that bad as opposed to their early blunder in this match where they lost a player on 12th and 11th position respectively. But let's go into round number 5 as we see the first major mistake. It is from Matt Pye, who had to respawn, fell off the track, and is multiple seconds behind. So this also should... Yeah, I mean, we also talked about information as well, Boney, right? Players should give calls. Players should save it here.
Yeah, it definitely is not a situation where, especially with the way the risky finish has been proven to be risky, right? Very much true to the name. It should be a situation of these players taking the safe, and the gap is simply too large for them to ignore the situation. And we're going to see if whether or not people notice it. Inko is like, nah, I'm good. I'm just driving my line. That's okay. Ooh, Loco having a little bit of a crash right there, but makes his way across, and yeah, unfortunately Mapai will be leaving stage right and getting them about, what is that, 9 points? 8 points, sorry, we're already on 8th position. And my mind was like, oh, we're on 2v2v2v2, except it's not ice. And then I forgot. It's just how it goes, I suppose.
Yeah, we come to ice very, very soon here, of course, on the stream as well. Bear with us, there were some technical problems. I mean, sometimes you just cannot... Yeah, we have the freedom. You cannot calculate everything, and if you have a custom script made, right, sometimes things can go wrong, and that just is what has happened here. So bear with us as we are continuing the event. I mean, foreshadowing, or maybe just thinking about XP Evo 2024, I think it was, or 2023. No, 2023, I think, right? Yeah, where we had like a massive delay happening. That is not the case here. So it can always be worse. I don't want to jinx it here, of course, but let's go into the round because it's much closer now. As I was just speaking about that, we see High Gebis with a mistake, not having any speed to work with, but there's still the ending left to be cleared for the teams. And we see a mistake from Kurizutina, and also Abdu made a mistake. But Kurizutina
Abdu did make it across. Yeah. That is unfortunately going from last man standing to no man standing anymore. That's going to be 7th place for Christina and 25 points from map number 1. It's not the worst. It's not the best. We have seen it already. You know, could be higher, but yeah, you're losing in a match where there's 12 players entering and you're entering top 6, you're no longer in there. It's gonna have to rally and get ready for the next one. There's still 2 more maps to be played after this, and the question is whether or not Italy has what it takes to stay into it. Otherwise, it is lights out. This is lower bracket. You lose, you go. Well, you're probably already home, but yeah, you don't get to play along. You just get to watch along from the sidelines. Loco doing a phenomenal job in this round, but Matt, the Brazilian legend, currently in 6th place, looking for any and all way probably to get back into the fold of things, but I don't think there's enough to risk to make something happen. It's going to have to hope for that risky finish to perhaps cause someone to make a mistake. Oh, crash there.
Oh, Jake Gray.
Matt misses it. Up to the still in. Jake Gray going for it again.
Oh, no, man.
Even on the repeats. Yikes.
If he just went for the safe finish, Marius would definitely not be proud of that, right? About that moment. So Matt is indeed out, even though he had the chance of overtaking. I think it was Jake Gray who did a mistake, or one of the remaining players. Abdu also fell behind and had to respawn. So there were quite a couple of mistakes in there, but Brazil taking or just conceding another player, and it's looking good for Spain. And also for Denmark in this regard, both only with 9 and 11 points so far. And we see another mistake now, this time from Hygebis, who is very far behind now, 3.5 seconds. So this should, again, ring the alarm bells for the Spanish and also the Brazilian players still remaining to just save. But also, I want to talk about strategy now. Let's say Hygebis is faster on this map. Would you sacrifice Jake Gray? Because I think on this kind of map, everything in the end can happen. You can catch up 4 seconds if someone respawns. So I think you just pray that something happens, I guess.
Maybe. I think on a map like this, it is very much a... You can still hope for it. There is still that risk of players messing up the ending, as long as the gap is not too big. But I would say on... Slovsky's map, it's definitely a lot more of a consistency is a lot more important there, a lot more replicable, I would say as well. Whereas here, towards the end, it could just be a minor issue. But even then, it's hard to say. It's hard to say whether or not it's then good to say, well, you're faster, so let me just let you through. I think in the moment, if someone's faster, they're faster, and you just take it for what it is. I think is the way to play it.
I think Jake Gray made the right decision there by going for the safe ending in that previous round, and just relying on maybe someone making a mistake, and then his teammate is able to overtake, right? Hygebis could maybe capitalize on a mistake, but of course the fewer players left, less mistakes will happen naturally, of course. Because we have seen like 3 or 4 mistakes in the first round where still 12 players were left, and now we just left with 4 players, so that might not even be a mistake in the end, because we only have the fastest player left, or players left. But we go into the ending, Jake Gray versus Linko, and Linko gets overtaken to the line, 200ths of a second. Jake Gray with a very risky line with a lot of speed, eliminating Linko here. So Spain with 1 player left, as well as Brazil and Denmark, 15, 14, and 18 points. Only Italy behind, but I mean, not by too much, Boney. With 1 good map, they were in the conversation again.
Yeah. It's, I think the distribution in terms of players going out and the countries that they belong to is what allows this to still remain relatively close. I mean, right now as well, our top 3, 1 Brazilian, 1 Spanish, 1 Danish player, and because of that, the spread of points is relatively even. So that even though Italy had a bit of a rough map number 1, they can definitely redeem themselves on the map 2 and map 3. Jake Gray, though, has been having some issues on this track from these last couple of rounds, seeming like the pace is mainly the issue, with mainly the ending being quite strong. Loco, though, having some issues with the transition. That may be the saving grace for Jake Gray, as Tim and Abdu making their way to the finish. Jake Gray goes too low. The pressure was on, and unfortunately, sometimes gravity simply takes over. Jake Gray does not make it through. It's going to be Abdu versus Loco in this final on map number 1. Going to be Spain versus Brazil.
But still a great performance here from Denmark. 9th, 5th, and 3rd position. That is not too bad, if I do say so myself. And we go into the last 1v1 ... moment by the looks of it. But here we go. We are starting. But I mean, I think that also confirms why we picked this match. It's very close for the top 3, and I think Italy can also bounce back, because if we take a look onto their seeding results, they were ahead of Spain, and Spain currently leads this match with 15 points, and they will definitely going to lead it or have a tied lead alongside Denmark if they get second in this round. But it looks very good for Loco here, as he's quite far ahead of Abdu, who also did very nice during this first map. He's, however, a quarter of a second behind, so he needs to run on a mistake from Loco here in this part. Oh my god, that was very close.
Yeah, some times a bit of a difference of lines as well between the two players. Interesting to see which of the two pays off a little bit more, but as it is, Loco already was able to build up an early lead and is able to capitalize on that throughout most of the track. Gonna have to go for the risky thing along with Abdu as well, taking a bit of a wider line, but Loco is straight as an arrow, making their way true to finish with a 54.7 to cap things off here on Whiskey's Surfside. And it's gonna be, well, I suppose Spain winning this first map and having 15 points on the board. Beautiful stuff. But all to play for. It's 15, 17, 20, and 25 points across the teams, across the nations. And I don't think this will exclude anyone simply saying that Brazil and Italy, you know, just need to get a little bit of a better performance than they did in the previous map.
It's one poor round just in those first 1, 2, 3 rounds, right? Where you really get a lot of points for your team. So that's what you want to avoid. So I think round number 2, or like the first couple of rounds on Magneton from Mephisto will be very important here, as we are having a small warm-up before we start this match. And yeah, well, great performance from Spain after... yeah, just a good performance from Loco in the end. You love to see it, but I mean, it could still go either way. Spain could still get eliminated, as we are, of course, in the lower bracket. So the teams have already lost their first match. So if you lose one more, well, you're out of this competition. So a lot of things on stake here. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, I mean, that national pride most likely weighing in as well, right? You want to do good for your team. You want to do good for your country. So it would be a shame to, you know, not be able to win at least one match, because that is the situation that these teams find themselves in. This was losing their first match, going into the second match, losing again. It just feels bad, but as it stands, as it is, all cards are still on the table. Everybody still has a decent shot at making it through, and everyone has that chance of perhaps taking a massive blow. We'll see through these first couple of rounds as round number 1 is underway. It's Mephisto's Magneton, and we do have a little bit of a change in the names that are currently driving on the side of Italy. We see it's Shadow coming out, replacing Christina.
Out of his shadow.
It's Shadow. And Joro coming in for Brazil.
But we also...
Other than that, Sartzi as well. Ooh, I mean, actually, some changes coming in. I like it.
I mean, we also talked about Gengar on this map. A nice coincidence there, actually, I would say, with Shadow, you know, all of that stuff. But right now, Brazil in the mud. Joro, who also has been substituting, I think it's Matt then. Matt is playing, but one of the other players. Yeah, he is right now very far behind, because everybody makes the risky ending. You can of course fail it if you mess up the transition or you do not have sufficient speed beforehand, but you only lose speed. It's hard to not get the speed into the ending itself. But Joro out, and of course with that they jump into last position with that. So huge chance now for Italy to keep their things together and also crawl back into this match by maybe getting some Spanish or Danish players eliminated very early on. This will be the dream scenario for them, of course.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of, you know, it's making friends with enemies in this situation, hoping that none of the Brazilian players, you know, end up in that spot, as that kind of hurts Italy indirectly as well, as it will still be Denmark and Spain ahead regardless, you know, you don't really have control over what your opponents are doing. The only thing you really control is about what you are doing right now. And right now, it's looking a little bit scary, actually, for Italy. As Higibus, I mean, the cannabis man. I don't know what to call him. This, it's pushing it. Is falling behind, but Matt losing quite some speed. That would be another 11 points. J-Craig, oh, clever jump, real quick. But Abdu, after all is said and done, looks to be the player out. We were focused on the wrong thing entirely. What a beautiful thriller this was, with at the end, the twist making their way forward. It's going to be Abdu in 11th place.
Yeah, it went south for Brazil here very quick. I mean, losing 2 players very early on with Abdu and one other player that is not showing on the leaderboard right now. So that is very unfortunate, of course, but that's just how things are going. This format can be very punishing, but also then you sometimes be like, oh, man, maybe I could have just saved it or released there a bit more, but then it compounded into a 7-second deficit. So that's how it is. Now Matt is the only player left alive for Brazil to deal some damage, but look at that start from Matt. Looking very good, 0.1 ahead of Jack and then Matt Pie as well. So Italy also looking very good on this map. Spain currently 8th, 9th and 10th position, so that is definitely not the dream spot. And now maybe they're thinking, Loco looked very good on map number 1. Do they try to maybe get him into the next round as well? Are any tactics involved into that? Even though Loco is also getting it out of his force here into this one, but he made a mistake. Dunst as well. Loco going for the reverse turbo.
No.
Oh, what is happening? Wait.
Dunst.
What? Oh, what a speech bubble moment. This ending is delivering, and that is huge.
Yeah,
that is huge for Italy and also for Spain.
Yeah, I saw the jump into the reverse turbo and it seemed like lights out, right? It was like, okay, this is it. It's happening. This is exactly what I was warning people about. But no, Spain coming out with you know, a couple of burn marks, a little bit bloodied, someone walking around with a stab wound or something, but somehow, some way, one of the Danish was out there heroically sacrificing themselves for the Spanish good or something. I don't know. That's not the point, guys. This is a competition. What are you doing? No. It's definitely a bit of a lucky stroke for Spain, who was looking down and out for that round, all in the, you know, was it, yeah, 9th, 8th, and 10th place. But now, it's looking like Denmark is continuing this streak of bad luck with J-Cray trailing behind by about 1.5 seconds. We have seen this finish cause issues similar to what we've seen on serves. But there you go. We lost one. There's Linko. I don't know who to watch. It just seems like at any point somebody might crash. I feel like we need the general camera there just to see what
the follow all camera.
Yeah.
So I just used the follow all camera for the end, because as you were rightfully saying, there are so many spots in the end where you can just do a mistake, right? And I think you can only really capture it if you're lucky, right? Or if you spectate the last person, but even then perception can change, right? And you don't really see everything happening. So it is Linko with a mistake, and that is now Spain only 1 point ahead of Italy and 2 additional points ahead of Denmark. So still everything to play for. Only Brazil is the team that is left in the dust here, 16 points behind, but they still have a player on the playing field who's doing very good here, as Matt is on 2nd position yet again, batting out with a Loco here for first. Higibus, or Higibus, it's probably pronounced like an E. Higibus, probably. 7 seconds behind, and I think that's too much.
Yeah. It's, I mean, one of the things we mentioned going into this map as well is Italy hoping for either Spain or Denmark to, you know, lose a couple players early on. And look at that. It's looking to go according to plan. They haven't lost a single player thus far. Last map, they lost all their players around spot 7. Well, they've already improved by spades right now, considering there's only 7 players left in the map right now in this track, and they're still on 25 points. They're still doing a phenomenal job, and we have an early crash happening right there. Not quite sure who that was. That was Loco messing up transition early on, heading into checkpoint number 1, and that's going to be Spain, perhaps losing their second player right now. Yeah, almost 3 seconds behind. I'm very hard pressed to say that this could still go either way, but hey, look, this map's been a trailer thus far, so what do I know?
Yeah, what do we know? And I think 3 seconds you're able to catch that up with a mistake in the end. So let's see if someone falls victim to that, as we already have a mistake beforehand, and this will be a huge speed loss here for Shadow, but still ahead of Loco by 1.5 seconds, still somewhat in the pack. Let's go ahead and follow him for that round here, as it is Matt now with a mistake. Is it enough to stay ahead of Loco? There's another respawn. It was so messy. It was enough for Matt to stay ahead. Loco on 6, but it is another Spanish player getting eliminated. Xarc, I think. That's a tongue twister and a half. Is eliminated. Xarc, I guess.
Xarc, yeah.
Sounds
about right.
Sounds about right. They're eliminated.
Look at that. Italy, first place, 25 points. All from map number 1. Are they gonna pull what Poland pulled off during their match, where they were able to get that ace happening on map number 2? It's not the exact same map, but it is the second map nonetheless in the match. Right now, Matt in the hot seat has been standing strong for Brazil for quite a long time in this match, but actually, you know what? He is behind. Jake Ray apparently teleporting behind. I totally missed that. Jake Ray, the last hope for Denmark in this map, now needing to pursue Matt down. See if they'll be able to actually make that happen. A bit of a slower line throughout that sector there, and having to set up for the risky fin once again. We'll see which of these players are able to make that lineup happen. Shadow in trouble, and Shadow out. It really goes to show that how those 3 gates, though technically it's 2, players do seem to have some issues really navigating that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, sometimes you have to just decide if you go for the risky or not, or maybe you go for the reactor boost, because if you've seen in the round beforehand, Matt didn't really lose too much with that. He was only 1 second behind in that round there. So it's not too much of a speed loss in that regard, but here we go. Now we see Matt Pye with a mistake in the start, so he's the one falling behind. As, yeah, I mean, Jake Ray was quite lucky. He made a mistake very early into the map. I think that was somewhere here, and Matt was able to just walk away with it and stayed ahead on P number 5 after he caught up in the end, and I think got 4th in that round beforehand. So still, we have 4 individual players for every nation in this second knockouts taking place. But this could change if Matt makes another mistake. Oh, that was so close to the wall for Matt. So Matt Pye catching up to Matt. That's that. You can get confused, but
it's Jack.
Jack with a mistake. Matt, Jack, Matt, Jake.
And then there's Loco.
Yeah, and Loco.
Loco. Yeah, not Lozo, Loco. That would also be something. Loso versus Loco. That's also possible.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember the login from Matt was Loco Colorado, I think, in Trackmania Nations. So there's also that connection to it.
Oh, that lore. All the lore is just coming out. But yeah, it's Christina.
Should be correct, I guess. Something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but
well, look, if you said it, then it's true. That's the way I see it. That's the way I believe it and envision it, and that's what we're gonna roll with. It is a 1v1v1v1, the battle of the countries right here. All 4 only having 1 player left standing. Matt Pye, Jake Ray, Loco, and M-Tat, will be duking it out, but Matt currently behind by a full second. Is not looking too good again, though. There is still that hope for that finish, and he is starting to pick up a little bit more pace, a little bit more speed. Matt Pye, once again, a little bit slower on this final part. Last time around, it was his teammate who went out and crashed, but this time it's Jake Ray hitting the side and will go down in P4. Denmark, another 4 points going their way, putting themselves up on 39. And with that, they will end this map on 3rd place. And we'll see if map number 3 will go better for them. But for now, they're going to have to watch by the sidelines, as the top 3 for this one is going to be Spain, Italy, and Brazil. Brazil still in. Matt doing what he needs to do despite the first and second rounds losing a player.
Yeah, I mean, Matt really saving Brazil from a disaster here, right? As this also happened in 2014 against Germany in the semifinal. I just had to bring that up at some point, right? So Matt with a great 3rd position if he gets eliminated here. But I mean, you know, he lives off of PayPals. He was behind quite often in those rounds, and then someone failed the ending, but I think Matt Pie and Loco have it in their bag, and Loco could reach finals back-to-back, but can he win them back-to-back as well? Great performance from him. Also in some rounds he has made some mistakes. He almost faced elimination, I think in the top 8 round or something like that, but now he's in the final. Both do survive it, but still Matt saving his team from disaster. 46 points for them, and still everything to play for if Italy or Denmark mess up, because it looks very good for Spain, also due to the fact that Loco plays very well. His team also only, quote-unquote, got 7th and 9th during this match, but Loco could win it here. And let's go into the last round. Matt Pie versus Loco.
Yeah, and both have been doing phenomenally in these last couple of rounds. It's gloves ups right now. There is 2 points on the line to be gained, and you do not want to gain those. These are golf rules after all. Nice back and forth between the two throughout that section, but Loco going a bit too far on the inside, hitting the cinder block and allowing Matt Pie to get away with murder. The lead may be on the table for Loco, but that does not mean good in this situation. There's nothing elite about that, and Loco falling even further behind, trying to catch up 1.5 seconds. Is going to have to look for anything really from Matt Pie's side. What is that horn?
Yeah, I also don't know. I hardly listened to it, but then I swapped to Matt Pie again. Yeah. But maybe Loco can do it again. Can we hear it?
Mark? Question mark?
Loco, type 1.
Mm-hmm. Press horn in chat.
Okay, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Too bad. Matt Pie also lost a bit in the end, 0.3 of a second, but he wins and sets up Italy nicely with a 3-point gap towards Denmark, who also got a good position with Jagre getting 4th, Hagebis on 8th, and then Dunsta only getting 10th on this map, though. But still, as I said, everything to play for as we go onto the last map. We have one more knockout that will be played, and what is for sure is that Brazil, they have to save it a bit, and if they're behind, they need to rely on mistakes, as Matt did on the previous map, of course, where he was a bit lucky, of course, but also was quite far ahead in some of those rounds on the first half of the map.
Yeah, and I mean, it's that first half of the map, right? That it's so decisive. It's a very swingy moment in the match for Brazil in this case, right? It's just don't do what happened on map number 2, and they're in a much better spot, right? Just stay solid, stay firm in those first couple of them, and then there's a lot to play for. 46 points currently for Brazil, putting themselves in last place, which is not too bad considering Denmark on 39, Italy on 36, Spain on 33. Everything to play for still, and every one of these teams still in a dangerous position. If Spain were to lose a player, 12th place in this first round, all of a sudden they're in 3rd. It's all hands on deck. You only got 2 players left. It's really a numbers game at that point, not just in matters of scoreline, but also just having people driving. It's dangerous still for each and every one of these countries. Not done by a long shot.
And that makes this format so unique if you think about it like that, right? Those first rounds are just so important. Consistency plays a role, but sometimes you can also just get outpaced. If you maybe save too much, well, you can lose 1 second. And I think on a map like this, we will see some mistakes, of course, but maybe not as many as on the map beforehand. But here we go. If we take a look onto the points, as you rightfully said, 33, 36, 39, and 46, but Brazil only gained 3 points even though it was a disastrous start for them with 12th and 11th position in comparison from map 1 to 2. So still everything up for grabs for them. Only one mistake from either country could be enough to bounce them back into the mix, and we already see it from Shadow, but also Matt is in there, who has made a small mistake here, as you can see, so that is already very important. Kurizutina also falling a bit behind Kyle, of course now subbing in for a Brazilian member as well, not too far ahead as well, so 2 Brazilians behind, but we see a quite awkward line from Belaco Jr., also dropping behind, as well as Kyle. So it's a very, very important round. Matt also having to save it here, and he's quite far behind, and this could be the first nail to the coffin for Brazil if they cannot pull the trigger. Matt is pushing it, but Matt with a mistake. That was a very risky line from him, and I think that will be it. Matt was saving his team on map number 2, but now he will be the first one facing elimination. He is 6 seconds behind. Players opting for the safe finish. Kyle almost missing the ending, but Matt is out and gets his team plus 12, now up to 58 points, and I think that's almost impossible to catch up to.
Yeah, it would require both Brazilian players to aim for top 3. That's really what it comes down to, and even then, you gotta hope for the points to be divided up in a way that favors them. Yeah. Again, it's 11 points on the line right now, so still a big swing is possible. We'll see though if it'll be enough. I mean, Matt needed a savior right there. He played the savior in the second one, map, but unfortunately this time around, not really being able to do what he was able to do in that previous one. Interesting to see as well on the side of Italy and Spain. You already mentioned Belaco Jr. Coming in for Spain on this map. Vendetta being a player coming in for Italy on this one, as well as Christina coming back to a drive on the track here. And it does look like, despite them coming in as subs, they are not able to have the best of times right now. These first couple of rounds, finding themselves in the bottom half of the players, and it's Vendetta versus Belaco Jr. right now, duking it out for not 11th place, as we are already at the final few turns of the track, making our way through this narrow drift. It is Vendetta who is unable to keep up, catch up. We'll see if the finish does anything to change the situation, but no, it is going to be Vendetta. It's going to be Italy taking the hit and losing, or I should say gaining 11 points, putting themselves on 47. It's nice to see for Brazil, but it's a long way for them still.
And even bigger for Denmark, because they move up to 2nd place with that. And I think Vendetta also comes from Trackmania Nations, if I recall that correctly. I think he's also an OG player from that game. I remember when I started streaming that there was a person called Vendetta. But I think I could also be wrong. I mean, I'm just a boomer at this point, right? So what do I know? What do I know? But that was an insane round for Denmark, who looked just calm and collected. And I think none of the players were just in danger of getting eliminated in the first 2 rounds, as we have Kurizutina now on 10th place, catching up to Belaco Jr. So a Spanish player could face elimination here. Belaco not with a good amount of speed in this sector. Linko also falling a bit behind. Shadow now with a mistake, getting overtaken by Kurizutina, his fellow countryman, for that 9th position. So another Italian could go. This is good for Brazil to maybe take 3rd seed, but I mean, it doesn't matter because a Danish or a Spanish player has to make a mistake. But right now it is a Brazilian player who failed it here, and Kyle saves its Shadow from disaster. This could be huge for Italy because they still have 2 players in there, and if they run deep, well, they can still overtake Denmark or even Spain if they face elimination in the next couple of rounds.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen how good Italy is at sticking around on map number 2, and they're gonna have to keep it up. Shadow and Christina. That unfortunate 10 finish right there for Brazil is gonna knock them out. There's really no. There's a lot of scenarios you can think of, but none of them really involve Brazil moving forward. What's also gonna be looking like lights out is gonna be Shadow, who has a very awkward crash, is still driving, didn't go for the respawn, but will be behind by 3.5 seconds. So that thing that Italy needed just now in this round is staying in with both players, and This is the exact opposite. Losing a player in 9th place would be disastrous. Would be close to lights out, if not completely making Spain and Denmark the 2 teams to go through. Shadow with another crash there is going to go fully out, and it's Abdu and Higibis who are the only 2 who could maybe make something happen. But no, we already see some saves going there. Just get everybody across the line, and then nobody will get hurt. And unfortunately, Shadow will not be able to benefit from anyone else's mistakes, and is going to have to leave stage right as well. And I think with that, 56 points for Italy. I think the only way is if either Spain or Denmark lose 3 players back to back to back.
Yeah, so I mean 8 plus 7 plus 6, that equals 21. Yeah. So I mean Denmark has to lose all 3 players now in order for the Italians to go through. But this, I mean, 1 player with a mistake. I mean, it could still happen, but or like either in this round or in the next one, because 7, 6, 5 is 18 points. That would be barely enough. But that also means that Kurizotina has to run very deep into this knockout. I mean, he is doing really good here in this round, currently on 2nd place. Also Abdu with a great performance, though maybe the pressure is off now that he knows that his team is sadly already eliminated, but still playing for the glory. But Italy, they can still make it. And Kurizatina fighting for his life, that is for sure. As Hyggebis now falling, like Denmark falling a bit apart in this round. Jake also not with the best of showings here. And Hyggebis is out on this one, giving his team 8 points. So now the gap suddenly is 9 points. And that applies a lot of pressure onto Dunster and Jake.
Yeah, this is definitely a bit of a squeaky bum time. It's still a lot of points to be gained, and it's exactly not what you want. 7 points is the number that these teams will gain if they end up with a player in last place. Italy, technically, has a situation like the situation I had in my mind is that if it were to come to like 7-6-5 for Denmark, and then Italy would be ahead by 1 point if somehow it's Abdu versus Kristatina, at which point Christina needs to get 1st place as well, otherwise it's 2 points, which would put over. It would be a ridiculous situation, honestly. But as it is, it's Linko who finds themselves in 7th place, 2nd behind, and the rest of the players looking to be in a relatively compact formation. Christina having a little bit of a different drift line does fall behind, but I think along the way as well, it's going to be Loco, even more crashes, even more issues. Ooh, even with that crash from Jake, I don't think it's going to be enough. Ooh, well, maybe that one. He's going to have to go safe. He's going to have to go safe.
Yeah, but Loco also with a mistake. Yeah, I completely blundered on that one. So Loco now eliminated.
Yeah.
I thought that Jake would be on last, but of course there's 7 players in this match. You can sometimes slip over a player's mistake, right? And it is Loco who's the first Spaniard in this match who is getting eliminated. So still Belako Jr. and Linko left. Linko not having the best start, but was able to bounce back and finishing in a timely manner in front of, I think, 2 players in that round. So not too bad, but now Linko a bit further behind, having to readjust there a little bit as well. But it's still everything to play for. Only 0.1 of a second between the players here after 23 seconds of driving. That is a great round that we're witnessing here. A lot of stakes on the line because Italy should not lose Kurizotina here, but that is looking very much like that. But I think, that's it. If Kurizotina gets 6th place here, the results are set in stone.
Yeah. I mean, for maybe another Jake moment. I mean, Jake has been having issues with this ending, right? So there is still potentially that. Jake is in 5th place, has fallen behind from the pack. Belako goes a bit wider, hits the wall, goes for the save, should be fine.
Jake
barely. Oh my word! That was.
Oh my. Dude, I thought that he would not bounce into the ending. This was so important. It takes a lot of guts to commit to that jump, really. You already feel it whilst being airborne. that this is not going according to plan, but he was able to get it through. And well, with that, Italy and Brazil are eliminated, but it was a lot closer than the score right now looks. I mean, it looks quite close actually, because 40 points for Spain so far. That is a lot of points, and it shows that this match was well fought after.
Yeah. I think especially with the second map, Italy did a phenomenal job of rallying back and getting back into contention. Denmark looking a bit weaker on that one, but third map, unfortunately, unable to really keep the momentum going, and Brazil unfortunately going out. But the same situation, except instead of Matt being the one to stay in for quite a long time, it's Abdu, and while Abdu does have to go for the respawn right now, Jake Gray is still relatively close, though Abdu once again having issues. Yeah, no, I think that is really all that she wrote for Brazil. And with that, they will have to leave the tech team part of the Trackmania games behind and look forward to their next event. It's going to be, as you say, Spain and Denmark, but also for this top four. We'll see which of the two will be the fastest.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, like, one thing I want to say about Brazil, because the potential definitely was there. Abdu had some exceptionally well runs on this map, as well as Matt on the map beforehand, right? Just a little bit of consistency was missing. Maybe the pressure then got to them, right? But still a great performance from them, even though they have gotten themselves 73 points. Of course, map 2 kind of fell victim to that, where they got 12th and 11th position in that one, so that was very unfortunate on that one. And I think if they didn't get this one, this would have been a complete different match. But here we are, we still fighting it out for the last remaining positions, as we still have 2 Danish and 2 Spanish players left, but positions look to be set in stone, because even, if Belako and Linko gets 3rd and 4th position, the tiebreaker means that Denmark has the best ranked player on the last map. So if Dunster and Jake Ray now knock out both Spaniards, and it looks like Linko will be the first one, well, they will take seed 1. So this round now is very important after that.
Players asking for lottery numbers from Jake Ray. I don't understand why they would do such a thing. Seems a bit odd to me, but this is one of those, a bit of an honor thing, but also a bit of seeding thing, right? This will influence where these teams will end up in the quarterfinal lower bracket round number 2. I mean, they're heading there regardless, but again, this is where perhaps a little bit of tactics comes in. Perhaps there's already been a from the team sides, like, okay, where do we end up? What's going to happen? Just to understand what would be the case. Dunstay, unfortunate touch, will be lagging behind. It's going to be, looking at the distance, about, 9th? Yes, 9th. There you go. As Belako wants to make this into a 1v1. He is battling it out with Jake Ray, who has had a bit of a back and forth, bit of an up and down on this track. Right now, man's on top of the world doing what he needs to do. Dunstay decides to play Pinball Simulator, as it's going to be Belako Jr. versus Jake Ray. Also, I should mention Belako Jr., the first couple of rounds in danger. But ever since, has been driving fine, has been doing great, has been doing what he needs to do to get his country through. And it is going to be a fun 1v1 between the two. A bit of a, seeing which one is the best, a clean 1v1. First mistake will unfortunately have to go, unless the other one makes an even bigger one. We'll see.
But Jake Ray as well, right? He has also been struggling as well with the ending, and had some mistakes where he almost faced elimination. And I think that low finish there as well, that leap of faith where he barely made it into the ending, and this could have been a complete different story for Italy in that regard. But here we go, the last round of this match. The seeding is already decided. Spain will take first position. Then we have Denmark on second, Italy, and also Brazil, unfortunately eliminated here as we are in the lower bracket. But let's take a look into this round. Belako with a great start. Jake Ray not too far behind, make it 0.07 of a second. Good line though from Jake Ray, coming back, almost touching the wall there, having to hesitate when to steer into the right direction, as we have Jake Ray with good speed here in this corner as well. Good setup. Belako having to readjust here as well, and Jake Ray taking the lead, but Belako with a good approach here as well. Will have a lot of exigency for that part, but is he able to control it? Looking good, and it all goes down to the last corner here. 1 car length between them, 0.08 of a second. Belako with a great line into that corner. Jake Ray going a bit wider, having more speed. Will it be enough? It goes to the line. Jake Ray with a good overtake, and he will not make it because he jumps a bit too far left into the ending. Belako wins map number 3, but what a great round that was here, ladies and gentlemen.
That was gorgeous to see. Jake Ray barely missing the mark there by jumping just a little bit too far to the left, but that is how it goes. But a great way to cap off this match, and just a nice little performance from the two players who, while they had their rough patches throughout this map, it's nice to see them battling it out in a clean fight, different lines, but even despite that, it's still getting as close as it did. I mean, that's what we watch Trackmania for. That's what we do this for, and I suppose
map,
in that regard, I think maybe all the Jake Ray doubters are gone. Who knows? Are they gone? It could be. Never doubt Jake.
I cannot see them. I can only see a rickroll behind.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, what a great map with a lot of different lines, and I'm really a fan of this. This might be my favorite from the map pack. But let's not get ahead of things, because I think Patster and Randomize will join us now again for the post-game yapping, let's say like that. Welcome back.
Hey, hello. Glad to be back. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to talk because we are very behind schedule. So just to give a quick update to everyone, due to the server issues we had, the last match today that was supposed to be on stream for Tech will be pushed to tomorrow, and we will be sticking with Ice for the rest of the day. So that will be it for Tech. So I'm glad we got a really good match to finish up there, but I believe we're not going to be able to chat too much about the match. Unfortunate for Brazil, they looked like they had a really good lineup coming in. They really showed what they could do, but just too many mistakes, unfortunately, in more of a consistency style event. So it's a little rough for them. Great match between the other 3 countries as well, but I think we're going to throw it to break so that we can get ready for Ice and catch up with them. So folks, don't go too far. We'll be right back with more Trackmania games after this.